Hey everybody, I was going to do a update today and figured I would do a Christmas update to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, as well as just show off the miniatures that I've recently painted for Civilians, for Pillage and Saga, as well as showing some miniatures that I've prepared for Test of Honor. I have some painted ones on the left to show what I've done in the past and the style they've been in, and to show off some scenery that I've purchased. I put some stills just at the beginning, just showing the peasants and shepherds. I've done the peasants, I've done the animals with the shepherds years ago. I just put them there for effect. I think that they look better, shepherds, when they have animals next to them. But yeah, these were nice. I don't know. A simple paint job. Dark Ages are really fun to paint, but also pretty easy. I feel like they're nice miniatures to paint and not incredibly difficult when it comes to uniforms and things. These Gripping Beast miniatures, I think, came out really well. In a previous video, I'd already shown these, but just when they were metal, I believe. But this teenager is my favorite by far. Part of it is he stands out because he's different. But he kind of looks like he's got a chip on his shoulder, like a teenager. And when I put him there, he's standing like with his chest puffed out a bit, or at least he slightly aggressive, almost as if unnecessarily. But I love it, actually. I love it. And so this guy I thought looked kind of cool too. He's kind of like leaning down. I did paint some of the eyes on these. Some of them were so squinty that I didn't think by the time I did my washes and stuff that it was going to make a difference. But yeah, this one I was almost considering doing a Christmas video with him, like something biblical. He just almost kind of looked like that, like the shepherd, you know. But yeah, so this one's growing on me, but initially I didn't really like the sculpt of the mustache and the beard on him. But he's got this like wrap on his head too, like cloth around his head. But yeah, I think these will be great because Pillage, a couple of friends, and more than one for sure, are looking at playing Pillage, and it is all about loot and things, and loot can be people as well as items. And so the animals and the civilians are all going to be really useful in this game, which I think is great. I can almost do a video or a topic kind of on civilians, because I find that any game that I really like, I always sort of yearn for civilians if I'm into the world building of the table. I always feel that it adds so much more, and it's so much more fun to have civilians on the table. And I have some for French-Indian War. There are other games that I have, but there are many that it's just combatants only, you know, and that's all it is. And I find it's just so much cooler if you have like a little society like on the table when you build your table out. I'm going to just make these guys disappear. So I've known for a little bit of time now that I was going to be getting into Test of Honor, and it's something that I've talked about for quite some time. I played one demo of the original first edition, and I really at the time felt it was the best introduction to a historical skirmish game, but possibly any skirmish game that I'd ever had. I felt more provoked thinking-wise with the gameplay mechanics of it than any skirmish game I've ever played. And even though I never got into it, I always gave it props and kind of wanted to. I had a friend and I that had wanted to get into it for years and never did. So recently I really put my foot down and I said, you know what? I have some stuff. Somebody sold a building, and it's not one of these. I have one large dragon building used locally, and I thought, you know what? I have Test of Honor miniatures. I have a few more than this. I probably have painted. I have a small introductory force, you know, for the first, I guess the original scenario that they want you to play. And so I have maybe 2 more samurai, or I have a sergeant and a samurai, and this samurai, and I have maybe, I guess, 3 more Ashigaru. And so it's enough to get going. Ideally, I would really like to have 2 forces, and that's what this is attempting to be. If Josh is watching, I'd be interested in see what he thinks, whether how balanced it would be. But I'm going to paint these the same so I can use them. I was thinking of maybe putting some different color flowers just so I can identify them when doing a 2-player game as being different forces. So different flowers like on the base. But otherwise they could be combined together to be a force. I went full in, so I went out and purchased, you know, I had models already unpainted, quite a number. I went out and bought more. I bought this building kit, which I'll talk about in a moment, and I have that other large building, and I've made quite a number of red maple trees. Well, I've made 2 more so I have 3, but they're large trees, so it is quite a number. Anyways, I'm planning on doing some cherry blossoms, some smaller cherry blossoms to go on the table too. But this is going to be something that will be a game I'll definitely be playing in 2026, and so really looking forward to it. These are Sarissa Precision buildings. Really easy overall. I had no major mishaps with this. A couple little challenges like anything, but this is, if you know, on any scale and rating a building and how easy it is to build and simple, this would be the lowest scale in my mind. They are all able to be opened, so you can just see in there. You can see simple. There's a floor you can paint, but there's no furniture or even extra rooms. Sarissa Precision, I've done for French Indian War a number of their buildings, and World War II I've done some. They are known to have sometimes dividing walls, but usually nothing extravagant. And so I have 2 houses I have a smaller one like this that's there, and then I have a larger one that has a front room. So essentially this with a front room. And I like it. It's got like these 3 tri-sliding doors, so it's very, I don't know, it seems very appropriate for when I watch like Shogun and things, having those kinds of doors. They look like wood houses right now, but I think they're going to paint up really nice. I'm looking at painting them as they do the style on the website. I have 2 packs of Ashigaru with different weapons, so muskets and bows, and so that's why they're just duplicated here. There's just just 2 packs of those. These are all metal miniatures, and then those are for Grey Army Games, the one that currently has the game itself and markets those miniatures. But these ones are from a different company. But they're often sold on the same website. It's Warbanner UK. They were the Warring Clans line. This is a samurai with Yumi, and out of all the ones that I built recently, I don't know how practical he'll be. A samurai that focuses on range combat. I'm assuming he gets just like all the dice that a samurai gets, so he's like really good with the bow. That would be really cool to try. I don't know how practical that'll be in the game, but I do think the miniature is really quite cool, and so rule of cool, I decided to buy him and make him up. And then this is I guess I have the name of it here. I'm often not familiar with the Japanese names of the weapons, but this is a kanabo, samurai with kanabo, and it's like this big club. And so that'll be interesting to see how that works, like a big heavy weapon. It looks like a big spike or studded club. So he looks kind of like a bit of a badass. He's going to come in here and it's like, he's going up against katanas, but he's going to flatten you. So at least that's what I imagine he's saying. I don't even remember why I chose this clan when I started, but I decided to paint mine up as Shimazu, the Shimazu clan. So that's the style I'm going for. It's sort of like a green and black and red are the main colors. And Ashigaru with the same kind of outfit. One of the things that, for those of you, I know there are some folks that watch the channel that play the game. I don't know, I didn't heavily look into what people do from a practical standpoint, but these seem pretty impractical from a modeling perspective to use the way they do them. Like, I found this was a different company, so there was just a spike that went into a hole here, and that was actually a little easier, a little more fragile, but a little easier to model on there. I found these things, affixing these things to the back, to be, like, I was prepared to hopefully just do them with crazy glue. That was not going to happen. They're not shaped very well, and they just don't fit very well. And I imagine they could get broken off pretty easily, but to keep in line with what I've done before, I did still put them on all of them. All these new ones that I've done, and I used green stuff to just basically secure them to the back. I think I'll be able to get away with it where it's not that noticeable, but to me that was really the only way I was going to do it. I wondered whether a lot of people just don't put them on altogether. My thought is these are probably more a formal function of wearing the flag into battle, and that many people probably don't. I'm just curious what other people do. I might even switch and do some without it, if that's the case. Just have a bit of a mixture. Anyways, that's kind of what I'm up to. I'm still really into Adeptus Titanicus and like thinking about painting my Warlord up, and also doing more Knights and actually doing some more Warhounds. I have like miniatures that are unpainted that I have to get done for that, and just to make playing have a bit more variety with the different maniples that I can use. So I'm really quite enjoying Adeptus Titanicus, and I'm enjoying doing this, a little bit of this break and doing historicals. After I will likely do some more civilians, because I have miniatures to play Pillage and Saga, but I have bought from Footsore an army, a Viking army, that I've always wanted to paint up. They've released more than one line, Footsore of Vikings, and the older line is the one that really had me kind of psyched to paint their miniatures up. And so I went back and they still offer both, and I went and bought the group of miniatures that I've always wanted to paint from them. And so what I'll do is I'll paint and get some stuff from Test of Honor to get ready. I'm going to be playing some Pillage very soon. I'll likely get some more civilians together. Probably going to do the women and children next from that set. There's also some traders, Trader, and I'll probably do those as well soon. But after that, I'll just be bouncing back and forth between Test of Honor and Dark Ages, as well as doing a Titan and some Knights here and there. That's going to be the next easy 3 months for the channel. So otherwise, in other words, or anyways, I hope everybody has a really great holiday and is getting some relaxation time with friends and family. And I hope that everybody has a great Christmas. Talk to you later.